Come here. Would anybody like to inspect?
According to Gawker, Trump's legendary hairdo is actually a weave. This is how the process looks, basically weaving hair into what's left of the client's existing hair.
On Donald Trump, comedian Robin Williams has some thoughts.
I think Donald Trump's hair is actually another creature.
Yeah.
The hair's like going, good night, Donald. Good night, Donald. Here we go.
Maybe it goes out. It goes out and makes money while he's asleep.
Yeah. Donald goes to sleep and the hair's going, keep investing, keep investing. And then it comes up,
Think big kick. Think big kick.
wake up, wake up, wake up.
Now, I have to tell you, for the last quarter, you had 3%.
3-2.
And actually 3.2, they adjusted it upward. What a nice sound that is. Are they playing that for you or for me? They're playing that in honor of his ratings. Did you see how good his ratings? He's beating everybody.
I think they'll be higher tonight. I'm just guessing.
So the fact is that we're really rocking. We have 3.2 now.
Another polarizing difference between these two men.
It's good to be in a room with fake beer. Having just gotten out of rehab, that's a good choice. Because I was violating my standards quicker than I could lower them. But, uh-oh. I'm not going to forget that. I've never had an entire audience just go, forget you! You have no idea!
The respect they give, or in the former president's case, lack thereof.
That'd be great.
Is anyone else allowed to touch it?
Yeah.
Really?
Sure. I mean, it doesn't bother me.
That's daylight.
No, it's mine.
Wow.
It's mine. It's not bad, right? I actually have a hairline, see?
Pretty good, yeah.
I'll tell you what, all my friends that are my age, they're gonzo. Look at my man over there. He's my friend. He's my new friend now that you messed up my hair.
Sorry, it didn't move, though.
Williams would have more ideas on Trump's follicles.
He wants to see Obama's birth certificate. I want to see his hairline. Your call, Coach. I mean, everyone's just going, really? I mean, it was my theory is that the hair is actually the Donald. That it's like some alien creature that landed years ago. Who's the bald guy?
I believe the hair is actually him. I believe at night he walks into a small room, sits down, and the hair goes, who shall we marry next? We're going out. Put your name on that building.
He wasn't president. He hadn't been elected for for 5 minutes at that point. And this is when impeachment begins. And then he's impeached the first time. And then he was impeached the second time. And they slandered him. They belittled him. They went after him. They went after all of us. There's no family in American history that has taken more arrows in the back than the Trump family.
Then there was Eric Trump, the president's son. He would use a selected portion from Williams' stand-up special, Weapons of Self-Destruction, where the late comedian shades Joe Biden for rambling and flubbing words. The clip was shared on his social media. Williams' daughter Zelda would see this and reply to Eric Trump the following: while we're reminiscing to further your political agenda, you should look up what he said about your dad. I did. Promise you, it's much more savage, she wrote. She'd add, gentle reminder that the dead can't vote, but the living can. She is correct, by the way. Via Consequence Film, during a 2012 performance, Robin Williams compared Atlantic City to the mythical land of Oz, full of druggies and pimps and pizza. Oh my, he'd say. And Donald Trump is the Wizard of Oz. He plays Monopoly with real blanking buildings. This is a scary man, and he owns like all these beauty pageants. Miss America, Miss Universe, universe. Isn't that a bit like Michael Vick owning pet stores? It's a blanking catch and release program for him.
If Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her.
Williams would see this and incorporate it into his routine. He would say to his audience, "This is a man who said, 'My daughter is hot.' Even people in Arkansas went, 'That's blanking wrong. That's just way out of place.'"
So there are a few things to bring up here. The first is, if you can, please do become a channel member. Go to youtube.com/TYT Sports, click the join button to support this show. If you don't want to support our show and just support the network and say screw Rick, screw the team, what have you, go to tyt.com/join. In addition, you can follow me on my socials on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Okay, so there's a few different angles here. The first is, when looking at the Eric Trump part of this story, it is very clear how conservatism, it is symbolic of how conservatism will operate in a nutshell. Because as Zelda Williams called out, rightfully, it was a small portion, and I understand that we live in that day and age on Musk's free speech platform of Twitter and others, is that we are obsessed as a species with short form content, and it has led to a great decay in mass media. However, what he did was show Robin Williams making fun of Joe Biden many years ago, which he did, and it was funny, but intentionally leaving out how Williams went 10 times harder on his father. I mean, the jokes that he had don't compare to saying, you know, it seems like Biden has like a mumbling problem and what have you. It is night and day, night and day. And Eric Trump getting called out is something that's like, it's almost too easy. It's like playing on a Nerf basketball hoop against a child. That's exactly what Eric Trump is. So dunking on him is quite simple and doesn't take a lot of effort because he's slow. The other part about this is some will say that Williams was making fun of both sides, and obviously that is a huge yes. But what it shows is his politics through all of this. It isn't just that he's making fun of an alt-right conservative in Donald Trump and a centrist like Joe Biden. It is that it shows where his politics lie. I saw in The Independent that they viewed it as progressive comedy. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. Like, yes, the Jim Brewers of the world are going to very clearly be conservatives, but in a lot of their material, many of these comedians are going to actually push past progressivism because they see it a lot of the times how we do. George Carlin said it best in that interview with Larry King that we've shown a few times. There is something about punching down that feels taboo, and punching up is the way to go. Because when you go at people who you literally cannot relate to, aside from potentially the air you breathe, even though the Supreme Court is now regulating that we should be inhaling dirty air because of Clarence Thomas and co. Calling out elite people in comedy should be the rule of thumb. And many people used it as, this is what Dave Chappelle should be talking about, not going after the trans community. And there were plenty of comments about that. But what I think this shows is throughout the years, until he unalived himself, tragically, sadly unalived himself, is that he aligned with many of the core values that lie in human decency and calling out corruption.